If you have ever bought a piece of software thinking that this is going to be the one, that final one that I'm going to purchase, listen, you are actually in the right place. Because we know in most cases when we do that, we generally don't hold to what we said, right? Things are scattered all over the place. So as I mentioned, if you're that type of person, you're exactly in the right place. Real quick, before we dive in, if we've never met before, you already know that I'm not about the fluff, right? I'm not about the fluff. Every single week, we speak about one leak, and I give you, I don't want to say tools because we're talking about the tool sprawl today, but I give you the things that you really need to have in your business in order for you to do the checkup from the neck up, literally. Okay. And today's leak, this one is generally hiding in plain sight in almost every business that I've actually done an audit on. And listen, it's going to be a good one. So while folks are actually finding their way in, let me ask you this, and I want you to drop it in the comments. How many different apps and tools are you paying for right now? Just a gut check. 5, 10, more than you probably even want to admit, right? All right, let's go ahead and get into this. More tools were supposed to make your life more organized, right? You thought. So why do you feel more scattered than ever? Today on the Operational Leak series, we are talking about the tool sprawl leak, the actual hidden pieces that are actually happening in your business while you're adding more tools, technically more chaos instead of more clarity. For those of you who may not know me, I am Danette Moss, also known as the Strategy Lady over on Let's Talk Strategies and Digital CEO Systems. And I collaborate with consultants and service-based business owners to simplify, automate, systematize, and streamline their operations. 4 steps that spell SaaS. So they can stop drowning in the back end and build business that actually run on rinse and repeat. So here's what this leak actually looks like. You had a problem, so you bought a tool to fix it. Then you had another problem, so you bought another tool. A tool for scheduling, a tool for invoicing, a tool for projects, a tool for your notes, a tool for email. I mean, listen, I can go on and on. A tool for storing files, a tool for the things that last tool did not do. Each one made sense on its own, at least you thought it did. But now you've got 12 of them, and for some of you, more than 12. And they don't even talk to each other. That's the wild part. Let me show you what that actually feels like day to day. You need one piece of information: a client's address, a signed contract, the link to a file you know exists, and you generally do not know which tool is in. You're like, Lord, I don't know where it is. So you check one, then another, then the third one. You finally find it 6 minutes later, 10 minutes later, buried in an app you forgot that you were actually even using. This is where that actually issue comes in a hand. That's a problem for you. This is where you generally run into what I'd like to say is a data problem, right? Because everything is everywhere. And it is not actually a memory problem like a lot of people think. You're trying to figure out where it is. The tool sprawl is really the problem because you got things everywhere. Here's another one. Someone new joins your team, a contractor, an assistant, a VA, because we know people are telling us we need to get all of that, right? At least until AI came on board, but you still got to have that organized. And they ask you the simplest question that pertains to your business and your service. What is the process here? And you can't even answer it. That's wild. Not because you don't have a process, you do. It's in your head, right? We know about that too. It's all in your head, but it's not written down anywhere. It is scattered across all 12 of those tools or more, held together by your memory and your habits. And those are bad habits, by the way. So instead of pointing them to a system, you have to stop what you're doing and walk them through it every time for every single tool. That is what we consider a process problem. It's a process problem. And it is the same leak wearing technically a different mask. Because here's the truth. Underneath all of that, all of it, you bought tools to solve a problem or problems, but you never built a system to connect them. Listen, a tool is not a system. It's not. A tool is a single function. A system is how those functions work together. When you buy tools without a system underneath them, you don't get organized. You really don't. You get scattered, y'all, across more places. More software did not create more clarity. It created more logins, more subscriptions, and more places for things to actually fall through the cracks. Talk about a nightmare. But here's what the leak is actually costing you. Start with the money, because this one is hiding in what? Plain sight, okay? The average small business pays for around 12 tools and actively uses maybe about 5. Do the math on that. That is 7 tools you're paying for and barely actually touching them every month on auto pay, quietly draining your account while you are busy working. You did not decide to waste that money. It just accumulated. One, I'll try this maybe later on at a time. Then there's the next one. It's time, right? Time is serious. Every day, you are actually switching between platforms, logging into 3 things to find one thing, rebuilding the same exact information in different places because your tools don't share it. They're not connected. Now, that's not really 15 minutes because I've seen it. I've been there. It's more than that in most cases. It can be 15 minutes, 30 minutes. You're logging in trying to figure out, or in some cases, it can take hours. And I've known some of my clients where it takes weeks because they just cannot figure out where it is. And over a year, that is days of your life spent being the human bridge between the apps that should have been connected, the apps that are supposed to actually be helping you, right? Then there's the clarity. When the same information lives in 5 places, you never fully trust any of them. You don't even trust yourself in that case. Which number is current? Which version is the real one? You hesitate before every discussion because you're not sure that you're on the right data, right? The right thing in place. And then the last one of this area is momentum. Every single hand off between tools that do not connect is a place where work stalls, where things get dropped, where I thought you had it happens, right? Money, time, clarity, momentum. That is what tool sprawl quietly cost you while looking like progress. And we know that's not the case. So let's fix the leak today. Here's the SaaS fix. First, as always, simplify. List every tool you are currently paying for, every single one. Then ask one question about each. Does this earn its place, or is it here out of habit? You cannot organize a tool set you have never actually looked at, okay? You can't. Second, systematize. Map what each tool is actually for. What did you get that tool for? Where does your client information live in it? Where do your projects live? Where does your money live? One home for each function, not 5, 10, and 15. This is how you answer, where is my data for good? Because now there is one right answer, not a scavenger hunt. Third, automate. Once you know what stays, connect the tools that need to talk to each other. Get them together. The form should feed the list. The booking should trigger the onboarding. Stop copying and pasting between platforms that could actually be connected. I mean, that's a lot of work. Don't you agree? Fourth, streamline. Cancel what you are not using. Consolidate what actually overlaps. Then write the process down. Get it down. So the next time someone asks, what's the process? You point them to the document, not to your memory. You see, the goal is not more tools. It's really not. The goal is fewer tools, doing more, working together. Now, here's your action step. I always give you an action step every week, so that you can take those actionable steps. So you can go from either, in my case, from strategy to implementation, and you can kind of know where you're going and you're not all over the place. This week, I want you to make a list of every tool that you pay for. Write it down, each one of them. Write down the cost. Write down what each one is actually for. Then look at the list and find the overlap. The tools doing the same job, the ones you actually forgot that you had, the ones that you log into once a year, because we got some of those. And if you find one subscription you are not using, cancel it today. You don't need it. You don't need it. That is actually what I would like to say, and it's a big piece of us in business, right? Because we ain't got nothing to waste. That is money back in your business immediately. A tool you are not using is not an asset. It is a subscription draining you quietly. And quiet drains are the most expensive kind because you never notice them leaving. But if you look at that list and you realize your entire business is being held together by 12 disconnected tools with no system underneath them, there's your bigger problem. That is not a software problem. That is an operations infrastructure problem. And that is the kind of thing we look at inside of the operational infrastructure audit that I've been talking about. You get your operational score across all 4 pillars, a complete gap analysis, and a prioritized roadmap for what to build first, deliver back to you in 24 hours. Put your first step today. Listen, it's simple. List your tools, find the overlap, and cancel one thing that you're not using, or all of the things that you're not using. But here's a question I want you to leave with as we wrap up. Are your tools working together as a system, or are they just a pile of subscriptions that you are paying to stay scattered? That's not good. And if your tools are not connected, the problem is not the tools. It is the missing system underneath them. I'm telling you. And that is how you stop paying. Then, when you do it, you're gonna pay less, and you're gonna stop paying more for all that scattered stuff in a nutshell. Okay, and that is how you put your business on what I talk about all the time. It's how you put your business on rinse and repeat. That's how you get your SaaS on in business. And just in case you're not quite sure what SaaS stands for, I gave it to you, but this time we kind of gave it a little out of order because I don't like to tell you to automate something if you hadn't done what you need to do to clean things up. You simplify, you automate, systematize, and streamline. That's how you get your SaaS on your business. Now, I hope that you found this helpful and that you're going to actually take those actionable steps today. If you're just now joining, my name is Danette Moss, business growth and operations strategist, aka the strategy lady over at Let's Talk Strategies and Digital CEO Systems. Thanks so much for joining me for episode 7, another episode of the awesome Operational Leak series. Join me here every Tuesday at 12 noon. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay and share this with someone that you know actually needs this. All right. All right. Until next time, see you next week, 12 noon. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.